It has been a long road since June 16th. Tonight, more support for the tiny town with a little rock and roll. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Justin Pizzera.
I'm Megan Matthews. The story of the twin tornadoes made headlines across the country. The help Pilger received came from just as far. Tonight, we take a look back at the progress made in the village too tough to die.
The journey hasn't been an easy one.
I put a lot of time and effort into this town. I love this town. I love the people. I love all the outpouring that everybody has given to us.
Full of emotions, disbelief, shock, and heartache.
Probably don't know any of them, and it makes me feel grateful.
The June 16th twin tornadoes ravaged the village, destroying almost all of it. Residents in June told us it's the compassion from thousands of strangers that made their pain a little more bearable. Help came from everywhere, even Hollywood.
You see such great people, and it rips your heart out.
Rock star Bret Michaels and his crew did some heavy lifting in Pilger after the deadly storms.
Devastation here is incredible, and pretty emotional to get to see something like this. Pretty emotional.
Since June, dozens of fundraisers, pizza for Pilger, and countless donations. Homes are going back up. There's now a temporary school. Piece by piece, the Pilger community will put their lives back together.
The giving isn't over yet. Right now, rocker Bret Michaels is getting ready to take the stage in Norfolk for the Rock and Relief benefit concert for Pilger. Reporter Rebecca Ray is live in Norfolk now. And Becky, that concert's going to kick off in just a few hours. What's going on out there?
Megan, as you mentioned, Bret Michaels will take the stage here at the Event Center at 7:30. Now, the show is sold out. This center holds 2,000 people, and like I said, it's sold out. All of those proceeds are going to go towards towns that have been devastated by storms. Now, more than $20,000 has already been raised for those towns, and tonight, more money is going to be raised. A man from Elgin, Nebraska is actually going to be donating $10,000. Plus, there's going to be raffles and all sorts of other ways folks here can donate tonight. Now, as you can see, the line is growing. The show doesn't start for another 2 hours, but folks here are getting excited. With me is Jareen from Oakland, Nebraska. She's been here since 2 o'clock. She purchased her ticket the day she found out that the tickets were going on sale. What do you think about Bret Michaels holding a relief fund for all of these towns?
I think it's good that he's doing that and reaching out, not using just his name.
Are you a Bret Michaels fan? I mean, were you really excited to hear that he's coming here to Norfolk again?
Yes, we went to him last year when he was here.
And what do you think about an artist, like you said, donating his time and his resources to make a difference in a community, such a small community like Pilger?
I think it's great because if he wasn't doing that, who else would?
And, you know, he wouldn't have the support without his fans. Like I said, it's 2,000 people have purchased tickets to be at the show tonight. We will be here and bring you the latest tonight at 10. Reporting live in Norfolk, Rebecca Ray, KMTV Action 3 News.
All right. Thank you, Becky. Well, part of California's wine country is under a state of emergency after the largest earthquake to hit the San Francisco Bay Area in 25 years. As Begad Shaban reports from Napa, the earthquake startled people out of bed this morning.
The 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck hardest near Napa, California. Downtown, several historic buildings were damaged, and at area vineyards, wine bottles crashed to the floor. The quake buckled roads, snapped gas lines, and at the height, cut off power to tens of thousands of homes. Emergency whistles sent guests evacuating from this Napa hotel shortly after the shaking began around 3:30 in the morning.
I thought it was the end of the world. It started out rolling, and next thing it just shook violently. And I actually gave out a scream, and I thought, this is it.
While no one was killed, at least 120 people were treated at a local hospital. Most suffered bumps, bruises, and cuts.
So the earthquake took these doors off
the hinges? Yeah, doors came off the hinges, yeah.
Hugo Klywig says his clothing and antique shop in downtown Napa Valley was likely left with at least $15,000 in damage.
Most things fell from the wall. Cabinets fell over. Because anything that was in the windows probably is broken. All the stuff that was wood is broken.
The earthquake also sparked at least 6 fires, including one at this mobile home park. But broken water mains left fire crews without any water to battle the flames. This man watched his neighbor's house burn to the ground.
Well, it's like a bomb exploded.
Residents are now being warned to brace for aftershocks. Begad Shaban, CBS News, Napa, California.
And despite the earthquake, some businesses in Napa are still open. Local officials are urging people with reservations to call ahead first.
Dozens gathered at a memorial mass in New Hampshire to remember the slain American journalist James Foley. The Holy Mass of Healing, Hope, and for Peace was held in Rochester. Foley grew up in New Hampshire and his parents still live there. He disappeared in 2012 while covering the civil war in Syria. The 40-year-old reappeared last week in a video showing his beheading by an ISIS militant. The British ambassador to the U.S. tells CNN authorities using voice recognition technology, they're close to identifying his killer. And Islamic rebels in Syria have released an American journalist held hostage. U.S. Secretary John Kerry says he is relieved Peter Curtis is free, especially after the tragedy of Foley's murder. Officials say the U.S. was not involved in negotiations for Curtis's release, but they were aware of private efforts to secure his freedom. Curtis was kidnapped also in 2012.
Lincoln police are trying to determine why a 27-year-old man climbed out of the sunroof of an SUV and died. Police say it happened around 12:30 this morning in Lincoln. Officers say the man was a passenger in the vehicle and climbed out of the sunroof and fell into the street. Police are not releasing the man's name at this point. And a driver who hit a motorcyclist on the road last night, he left the scene but then felt bad about it and drove back to turn himself in. We were there when that happened. Around 7:30 last night, police responded to the hit-and-run accident near 72nd and Cedar. Police say the driver left the scene but came back about 30 minutes later and turned himself into police. They say alcohol and speed are not factors in this crash. No word on the biker's condition. The victim of an overnight shooting in Omaha did not cooperate with the police investigation. Police say someone shot a man near 14th and Katy just before 1 o'clock this morning. The suspect took off after pulling the trigger. Investigators say the victim and the suspect know each other, but the victim did not want to press charges.
Nebraska's Attorney General says the state has been too busy to focus on drug shortages that have halted executions in Nebraska. Attorney General John Bruning says he's confident, though, Nebraska will resume executions, but it could be years before officials can work out a new approach using different drugs or a new supplier. He said the Corrections Department has been busy with other issues, like questions over the early release of some inmates. Nebraska's supply of one drug used to carry out executions expired in December.
Omaha moms, dads, and growing babies got to celebrate today at the Methodist Women's Hospital NICU reunion. Hundreds of families met the people who got them through some of the scariest moments in their lives. Quintuplets, quadruplets, triplets, and twins. All healthy and growing kids now. Sabrina Negus had quadruplets in January of 2013. She says parents and nurses develop an emotional bond going through the NICU experience.
Teeny tiny babies that are so precious to you, and it's so precarious at times, and you just walk on this razor's edge during your time in the NICU. It's really scary, and these people are your rocks.
Well, coming up tonight at 10, we will share more of this family's story and how far some of these NICU babies have come.
A Bellevue teenager may be going home in a few weeks after suffering a stroke in July. Folks held a spaghetti feed in Bellevue today to raise money for 13-year-old Amber Hebert. Amber was playing softball when a blood clot made its way to her brain. She suffered a stroke. She's been working hard to get better at Madonna Rehab Center in Lincoln. Her brother says she's come a long way from not being able to speak or use her right side.
I can't help but smile when I see her because she has come so far. She has tried so hard, and she has not given up. Like, she's sad, she misses home, but she has not given up on recovering, and she's come so far.
Connor says his family hoped for the best, but prepared for the worst. Now he has trouble keeping up with her when he visits.
20 Omaha kids got a free back-to-school makeover today. Homeless children got a free haircut, lunch, backpacks, and school supplies. Organizers say it's a way to make the kids feel special on their first day. Each hairstylist does 2 kids. They like to spend quality time with each one so they get the full experience.
I think the kids probably get more excited about, the styling and the fun and things like that. But it's rewarding. It makes you feel good.
Well, the majority of the children receiving a makeover today live in homeless shelters and take part in after-school programming with the organization Completely Kids.
Well, they're going back to school in style.
Yes, that's important.
Well, an Omaha staple for decades, one business may be shutting off its lights.
Why loyal customers have been coming back for generations and how the owner hopes to save her store.
Plus, why a 10-year-old's kindness caught the attention of the Iowa State Patrol. That's all coming up.